Welcome to another Chainlink update. So what's happening right now should not really surprise you. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is currently going down. I will talk about that more soon. But before I do that, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server. Our Discord server is very important because that's where we usually post some updates before we actually post the videos. So if you want access to more information about what we are talking about here, make sure to check out our memberships. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Chainlink video. Chainlink is still trying to get to that 200% extension for the third wave of this 1-2 setup, and it's really close to getting there. I've had this on the chart for many weeks now, probably even months. So yeah, it's not really surprising that we are going there. And the target is $23.40. Now keep in mind, the third wave could overextend. It could overextend to the 2.272 extension and maybe even the 2.618 extension. But yeah, we should get somewhere in this region right here. Now, what is this for? Well, that would be the third wave of the third wave right here. And this is the third wave of this 1-2 setup. Now, the minimum target for this third wave was at $20.09. We obviously got above that, and I don't think that's enough right now because the first wave move up was way too impulsive for the target to only be the 200% extension of the 1-2 setup right here. So the most bullish thing Chainlink can do right now is, get above like $26 before we get any kind of fourth wave move down. You could theoretically say that the third wave right here is in because we got above the 200% extension, but I don't really want to see the price drop right now. I actually want to see it go higher for a bit longer. Now, what are these 5 waves for? Well, once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the main second wave move down is in. Now, just something between you and me, it's probably in because Bitcoin dominance is dropping and we are very close to getting an altcoin season, but still, I mean, this is a rule that we have to follow. If we don't get 5 waves up, then it's not 100% confirmed that the second wave move down is in. Now, if you did not watch my previous videos, this is the second wave move down of this first wave move to the upside. And let's go on the monthly for this because I want to give you my price prediction again if you did not watch any of my videos. So what we did in the previous cycle was this. We went up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup and that formed a first wave move to the upside. The bear market was a second wave move down with an ABC structure. And right now we are trying to go in a main third wave of this very large 1-2 setup. Now keep in mind the main third wave will most likely not get done in this cycle. In this cycle, we'll only work on the first wave of the main third wave move to the upside. And that's what these 5 waves are for. So of these 5 waves, we only have the first 2 waves. And we are now trying to go in the third wave. And the 5th wave will obviously finish the cycle. And I'm expecting this to happen in the summer or maybe fall of 2025. I have explained why I think that's going to happen in my previous videos. So you should watch these if you don't know why. And the first wave of the third wave up here does not have to get to these highs right here. However, because the first wave of that first wave was so impulsive, the minimum target for the third wave of the first wave of the main third wave up here is at $105, which is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup. So we have to get to that level in the third wave, then we will most likely get a fourth wave move down, and then we will lead a fifth wave, and honestly, this fifth wave could go anywhere between $160 and maybe even $270, maybe even higher. If you put on the 200% extension on the chart, I mean that's at like $500. I think that's a bit too unrealistic, but you never know. We'll just have to wait and see how bullish this altcoin season is. Now, I also want to talk about Bitcoin dominance. And why do I want to talk about Bitcoin dominance? Why is Bitcoin dominance so important all of a sudden? Well, it's not so important all of a sudden, it has always been important. And I have been showing you this for a couple of months now, probably like 5 to 6 months almost. And I did tell you that it is very likely that we continue going up until November, and then in November we start going down like we did in the previous cycle right here. Here in November we closed a red wick, and what do you know, we also closed a red wick in this November. And I did tell you that every single year, November is a bad month for Bitcoin dominance. It always closes a red wick. It closed one like every single year for the past 9 years or so, and this year was no exception. And The top could be in for Bitcoin dominance. Now, if you don't know why Bitcoin dominance is important, whenever Bitcoin dominance goes down, that's when we trigger the altcoin season. So for example, when it started going down right here, that's when the altcoin season actually started as well. Before this, we never really had an altcoin season. I mean, yes, we did go down right here, but this was not a real altcoin season. I don't think anybody got into crypto in like September of 2019 or maybe even February of 2020. That's very, very unlikely. Now, of course, if you got in right here, then congratulations, that's a good time to get in, but still, I don't think many of you even knew what crypto was when we were up here. Most of you found out about crypto when Bitcoin dominance was doing this right here. And why is that? Because most altcoins were pumping. And I believe this will happen again in this cycle. It happened in 2017, it happened in the previous cycle, and it's starting to happen right now as well. Also keep in mind, it has been around 214 days since the 2024 halving. Now why is that important? Well, because in the previous cycle, after the 2020 halving, it took about 214 days, well actually no, let's go on the daily. It took 230 days for Bitcoin dominance to top after the halving. So as you can see, exactly 230 days after the halving, Bitcoin dominance started going down and it continued going down for a very long time. Right now, it has been about the same number of days since the halving and a similar thing is happening. Now let's continue with the cycle before that. After the 2016 halving, exactly 230 days after the halving, Bitcoin dominance started going down. Is this a coincidence? I don't know, it could be a coincidence, but this is a very, very big coincidence and I don't really see many people talking about this. Bitcoin dominance literally did the exact same thing 3 cycles in a row and nobody seems to care. Only me, so you know, it is what it is. Also keep in mind, we are currently below the bull market support band on the Bitcoin dominance chart and we don't really seem to want to go back above it, so if we drop let's say below 55%, I think that will just confirm that the top is in and the altcoin season will start extremely soon. Now keep in mind, starting an altcoin season does not mean that Bitcoin will not go up. It will most likely continue going up in December and in January and for the rest of the year, of next year, because at the end of the day, this is Bitcoin we are talking about. I'm still expecting Bitcoin to get to about 255k in this cycle. So of course it's gonna continue going up. Bitcoin dominance going down only means that the altcoins will outperform Bitcoin and, you know, Ethereum will do the same thing. And that does not mean that Bitcoin has topped. Of course not. We are nowhere near close to topping, especially if you look at this chart from a monthly perspective. If you look at the RSI, I mean, the RSI is barely at like 75. When we topped in this cycle, in the previous cycle, the RSI was at like 92 or so. In the cycle before that, it was like 95. In the first cycle, it was like almost 100. Right now, we are nowhere near close to topping just based on the RSI and just based on the fact that Bitcoin usually tops 540 days after the halving, like it did in 2020 and like it did in 2017. And right now, at least on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we are copying exactly what we did in these 2 cycles. So maybe Bitcoin will do the exact same thing as well. I mean, that only makes sense, you know? So yeah, Bitcoin will continue going up. I'm expecting it to get to about 120k by the end of the year. And no, I don't think that's unrealistic, considering the fact that Bitcoin always goes up in Q4 during the halving year. As you can see in 2020, it went up like 47% after it already went up like 43%. And in 2016, it went up 30% after it went up like 6%. So as you can see, December is usually a very good month for Bitcoin, and even though this is not a good beginning and the month is red right now, I don't think it will stay this way. So going back to the Chainlink chart, Chainlink is obviously looking very, very good. We reacted to the support zone right here. This was a good time to buy in my opinion. If you bought down here, you would already be up like 3x, so you should be happy with your position. However, if you did not buy down here, I mean, is it too late to buy right now? Well, you know, it's not the best time to buy. The best time to buy was right here when we were down here. But if we really want to buy right now, maybe wait for a correction, but keep in mind that correction might never come. I mean, people are still expecting for a correction on the Cardano chart. And we did have a correction. We went from like $1.13, $1.15 to about 86 cents or so, and that was it. Right now, Cardano keeps going up, so that was the entire correction. The market does not really want to seem to cool off right now, so Are we going to get a correction? Maybe. Is the price going to be at like $40 when we get a correction? Maybe. So I don't really know if we will get one or not. I cannot really predict corrections. What I can predict is pumps. And so far I have been right every single time. So, maybe consider checking out the memberships and our Patreon, and like this video, subscribe, and that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.